What's up, Green Bay Packers fans? As always, thank you for joining me. I do greatly appreciate it. My name's Paul Brettel. I'm the site editor over at Dairyland Express, where we cover the Packers, Brewers, Bucks, and Badgers. I also have an article out every Monday and Friday over at Cheesehead TV. And as it says at the bottom of the screen here, you can find me on Twitter at Paul_Brettel. So, rewind a day or two. It was Saturday evening, and with the NFL season just around the corner, now on Monday here, less than a week away, I'd realized that I had not made a record prediction yet for the Green Bay Packers. Didn't even make one once the schedule was released. So I thought that this was the perfect time to do so. So on Sunday over at Dairyland Express, I have an article version of this topic posted over there where I go through each game and make my decision whether the Packers are going to win or lose and have my final record at the end. So that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys here today. So let's dive on in. Week 1 against the New Orleans Saints and played in Jacksonville, which is obviously a big factor. That New Orleans home field advantage is very, very real. And this will now be the second season in a row that the Green Bay Packers play at New Orleans, but don't have to contend with that crowd of theirs. Last year, obviously, due to COVID-19, and then this year because of the unfortunate circumstances that took place and the game having to be moved, it'll be in Jacksonville. The heat will be tough, but in comparison to playing in the dome with that crowd, this makes things easier for the Green Bay Packers. Jameis Winston, we've seen that he has those flash abilities, but he's not Drew Brees. Saints are also going to be without Michael Thomas. Sean Payton's a very good coach. I don't think that this is going to be a blowout by any means, but I do think that the Green Bay Packers win, so they begin the year 1-0. Week 2, the home opener at Lambeau Field on Monday night, I believe. The Detroit Lions come to town. They downgraded a quarterback, going from Matthew Stafford to Jared Goff. There's a number of new players in that building. A rookie head coach, Dan Campbell, that I don't think anyone knows what to expect from him. So Green Bay Packers are the more talented team. They win this one. They start the season 2-0. Next up, at San Francisco. Green Bay was able to win at San Francisco last season, but as I'm sure you recall, the Niners were decimated with injuries. They presumably, it's only week 3, are going to be fairly healthy at this time. And while the quarterback situation is in question, Jimmy Garoppolo is who he is. Trey Lance, will he even be playing at that point? He's a rookie quarterback, but Kyle Shanahan, he is a tactician as a play caller. And I think that he is going to give, regardless of who the quarterback is, I think he's going to give this brand Green Bay Packers defense a run for their money. I think he's going to stress them because there's playmakers, there's excitement around this unit, but it's a new unit. It's going to take time to gel. That's just the case. And so I think that I could see this game turning into a shootout. And I do think that the 49ers come out on top. I think the Green Bay defense just can't quite get enough stops against Kyle Shanahan. So Packers are 2-1 through 3 weeks. Week 4 against Pittsburgh. Big Ben is not the same quarterback that he was anymore. Incredibly immobile at this point in his career. And that offensive line for the Steelers is in rough shape. I think the Packers will be able to get after Ben. The run game is going to have trouble getting going. It's at Lambeau Field. Green Bay Packers come out on top in that one and move to 3-1 on the season. Week 5, staying in the AFC North, they head to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals are heading in the right direction. They've got a lot of young, talented players on this roster, including at the quarterback position in Joe Burrow. But like the Steelers, there's question marks along that offensive line. And we know how important a strong offensive line play is, especially for a young quarterback. Couple that with just the experience that the Green Bay Packers have as a team playing in big games, as well as just the talent difference overall on this team. The Packers are definitely the more talented team than Cincinnati. They're going to come out on top on the road, moving to 4-1 on the season. Week 6 at Chicago, back-to-back road games. Is Justin Fields going to be starting at that point? I'm not sure. We know that Andy Dalton is going to be, but regardless of who's under center that week, I have the Green Bay Packers winning this one. The Bears cornerback offensive line situation is in question. And while there's a lot to like for Bears fans about Justin Fields, if he is under center at that point, he's still a rookie quarterback. There's going to be lumps taken, and getting into a shootout against Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to choose Aaron Rodgers, and again, the experience of this Packers team. So 6 weeks in, I have the Green Bay Packers at 5-1. This point in the schedule, week 7 through week 11, I believe, is where things are going to kick up a notch in terms of difficulty. So week 7, the Washington football team comes to Lambeau Field, and I have the Green Bay Packers winning. However, I was very, very much on the fence about this one for a couple reasons. Hopefully, I still think it'll be a week too soon, but hopefully David Bakhtiari will be back at that point. He's out the first 6 weeks, and assuming his everything is as it should be, is in good order with his knee injury, he could be eligible to come back for week 7. However, my prediction is he's back possibly week 8 because I just think there's going to need to be a ramp up period, getting back into practice, getting back into the swing of things. But if he can come back week 7, that would be tremendous because this Washington defensive front is very, very good. Even with Bakhtiari out there, they are going to stress this Green Bay Packers offensive line. So that's one reason that I am concerned. Also, Green Bay, the following week, week 8, it's a Thursday nighter in Arizona. So it's a short week following this matchup with Washington. So I'm hoping that they don't get caught looking ahead. But I did choose the Green Bay Packers just because the overall talent level compared to Washington, plus being at home, I think that those are going to be the differentiators. But like I said, they have a short week upcoming, and this is a very good Washington defensive front who could really test rookie Josh Myers, rookie Royce Newman, and hopefully David Bakhtiari is back at that point to help. So this was honestly one of the more difficult decisions I had to make, but I decided to go with Green Bay. So we'll see once we get to week 7, but I have them at 6-1. As I mentioned, up next is Arizona on a short week. If we go back to the beginning of Thursday Night Football, the home team has a huge advantage. The win-loss column proves it. A huge advantage on these short weeks, and it makes sense. It's a quick turnaround. They get to stay in the comfort of their home. The win-loss record proves it. However, I think the Packers win this one. Arizona's a young, talented team, but I'm just not sold completely on Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach. I need to see more consistency from this team. Maybe by this point in the year, I would be willing to change my prediction because Arizona has shown me that they are a different team than what they have been in the past, more consistency. I mean, don't get me wrong. We saw them rally off 3, 4, 5 wins in a row last season. They are capable of that. But we also saw them lose 3 or 4 games in a row as well. And against a team like Green Bay, who has the playmakers that they do and the experience. And I know I keep harping on that experience, but this roster is very much the same as it was in 2020. And even in 2019, there's a lot of the same guys on this team. They're 26-6 over that span. They've been to 2 NFC championship games. That absolutely matters in these big games. And so I know I'm leaning on it heavily, but I do think that's a difference maker. And it is here as well that Green Bay just being overall more talented, the experience, that'll help them overcome the short week on the road and move them to 7-1 on the season. Next up, week 9, they are back on the road at Kansas City. I don't think they're going to come away with the win in this one. We know the home field advantage that the Chiefs have at Arrowhead Stadium. Andy Reid is the head coach, Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. The Packers, the thing that they do have going for them is that they're coming off a Thursday night or the week before. So they have a few extra days to get rest up, get healthy, and prepare for this matchup. But as I said, the home field advantage, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, I think that's too much to overcome at that point. So 9 games in, I have the Green Bay Packers at 7-2. Week 10, they head back home to face Seattle. Again, they're going up against an offensive line that has some question marks. I think this Green Bay pass rush is really going to be able to stress Russell Wilson, as we saw in the playoff game 2 years ago now. And we saw Green Bay struggle to win at Seattle during 2014, 15, 16. But recently it's been Seattle who's had to come here when the two teams have met, and the script is flipped. The home field advantage between these two teams has basically lived out as is, where the home team holds court at home and comes away with the win. So I think that's going to be the case once again, and the Green Bay Packers move to 8-2. Week 11. So like I said, this is a really tough stretch that they have going into the bye here with Arizona, Kansas City, Seattle, and now week 11 at Minnesota. It took a number of years, or a couple of years, I should say, for the Green Bay Packers to get their first win at US Bank Stadium. It came in 2019, and then they were able to do it again last year. It's still a very tough road environment, and I do think that this Vikings team is improved over what they were last year. So I do have the Vikings winning this matchup against the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers falling to 8-3 on the season. Week 12, just before their bye, the Los Angeles Rams come to town. The Los Angeles Rams, they were able to upgrade at the quarterback position, moving from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford. But we saw, and of course, they have a very good defensive front, the best defense by points per game allowed in the NFL last season. It's going to be a tough game, but we saw Green Bay handle this Rams team in the playoffs last year, and I think we're going to see the same result here. Matthew Stafford is an upgrade over Jared Goff, but I don't think that he's enough to push them over the top against Green Bay. And something to note about this game is that it's week 12. I believe that's November 28th of the calendar here in Green Bay. So obviously the weather's going to have turned at that point. It's not going to be the 10 degree, 20 degree weather, but it very well could be in the 30s, low 40s. So I think that plays into their hand as well, going up against the West Coast team. So I have the Green Bay Packers winning their week 12 matchup with the Rams and moving to 9-3 on the season. Week 13, that's their bye week. Week 14, the Chicago Bears come to town. I mean, coming off a bye week against the Bears, already went over the issues I think they'll have with the offensive line, cornerback play. Andy Dalton is who he is. Justin Fields is a rookie quarterback. 2 weeks to prepare. I have the Green Bay Packers winning that one to move to 10-3 on the year. Final stretch of the season here. Week 15, the Packers head to Baltimore. Baltimore has a mobile quarterback. They have a very strong run game. These are two things in the past that have really given this Green Bay Packers defense issues. Hopefully, those issues are mitigated under this new Joe Barry defense. It's week 15 at this point. The defensive unit should be gelling, but on the road at Baltimore, and for those reasons, I got the Ravens winning this one. Packers go to 10-4 on the year. Week 16, Christmas Day, the Cleveland Browns come to town to face the Packers. The comparison that I made in the article was last year's Tennessee Titans game. Now, stick with me. I'm not sitting here predicting that the Packers are going to blow out the Browns 40-14 or whatever it was. I don't think that whatsoever. But I very well could see this entering the game, the narrative around the game being similar to last year, where the up-and-coming, very talented Browns team is favorited, or many expect them to knock off the Packers at home. But again, I'm going to lean on the experience. Also, Christmas Day, the Lambeau Field crowd. I think that all that combined is going to help lead the Green Bay Packers to victory, and they beat the Browns in Week 16, moving to 11-4. 2 games left, 2 divisional games to finish the year. The Minnesota Vikings come to town. As I said earlier, I do think that they're going to be improved over last season. These divisional games are usually always tough ones to win, but at Lambeau Field, this game's on January 2nd, It's going to likely be very chilly here, potentially snow. We'll have to wait and see if that part comes true, but it is definitely going to be chilly. Vikings are a dome team. Green Bay Packers, they win at home, moving to 12-4. Lastly, week 18, almost said 17, week 18, they finish at the Detroit Lions. Hopefully, they've already secured the 1 seed at this point. We get to watch Jordan Love play in a game that if they lose doesn't mean anything. But assuming that that's not the case, I still have the Green Bay Packers winning. Who knows? The way that it goes when they have to play the Detroit Lions, they might have to come from behind to win. That just seems to be the case recently when they're at Ford Field. But again, I don't really know what to expect from this Lions team this year. I'm not sure how well they're going to perform under Dan Campbell. Not saying they can't find success. I just don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and predict it. And again, they downgraded at quarterback. Green Bay Packers win this game, and they finish the season, according to my predictions, at 13-4. So obviously we'll have to see how this all plays out. Things are going to change. Injuries are going to happen on both sides, the Packers and their opponent, that are going to change these outcomes. But one thing remains constant, and that's the expectations for this team. It's Super Bowl or bust. This team is all in. Their definition of all in might not look like what some fans want it to, where they're going out and making these huge free agent additions, these big trades. But this is the Green Bay Packers going all in. We don't know what the future holds for Aaron Rodgers. Their cap situation in 2022 is not good. I mean, leading into the 2021 offseason, we spent a lot of time discussing the difficulty or the difficult decisions that they were going to have to make this year to get under the cap, and they absolutely did. But to do so, they pushed a lot of those cap charges from 2021 to 2022. Next year is going to be equally, if not more challenging from a financial standpoint. They are all in on this season. It is Super Bowl or bust. Those are my expectations. And this team is very good. I think that they have a tremendous opportunity in front of them to hopefully do just that and get over that hump. So there's my prediction for the season. Green Bay Packers going 13-4. We'll see how close I get. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Find me on Twitter at Paul_Brettel. Let me know what your prediction is. How do you see the Green Bay Packers finishing? Also, leave your prediction in the comments here. Be happy to look at, see who you guys have or how you have the Green Bay Packers season turning out. And I'll comment back just for fun. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and go Pack Go.